Hi, Herbert Lee. Ready for another English breakthrough? Hope so. Today I want to share with you a new approach, something really interesting. You know, for years I struggled to learn English when I was growing up in Canada. Now I'm going to share with you some advice that I would give any student of mine who said to me, Herbert, what are some of the best tips you can give me to improve my English as quickly and effectively as possible? In this video, I'm going to share with you my 4 best ways to improve your English in something I call the Bassackwards technique. Get ready. Something you're really going to enjoy. Hi, it's Herbert Lee again. People call me the professor of harsh reality, and the reason is simple. I tell people what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. You probably want me to say, okay, you can learn English easily without much effort. I can show you how to do it in 5 minutes or 5 hours, and you're going to say, oh, great. I'm not going to tell you that. That's what I mean. I tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. We call this the Bassackwards approach, the Bassackwards technique. And the reason that's called the Bassackwards technique is Bassackwards actually means ass backwards. And this is from a very famous minister. His name was Reverend Spooner in England, who used to mix his words around. He was a minister, and one day he would say, the Lord is a shoving leopard, when he meant the Lord is a loving shepherd. So he reversed the 2 letters. And so when you say Bassackwards, you really mean ass backwards. You do things from front to back and from back to front. So you're doing things inverted, not the way other people do things. It's very important to do things the way that other people do not do it. It's very important to do things not the way that you've been doing it for years. It's been said that insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Do what you have been doing and you will always get what you've been getting. The result will be the same. I'll give you the first example in our Bassackwards approach. So what kind of dictionary are you using now? A native language to English, an English to native language dictionary? Most people, when they start to learn English, use this kind of dictionary. Why? Because they want to understand everything the teacher says, they want to understand everything in the book, so they rely on a dictionary. But let me show you why you shouldn't do that. It's been listed as the world's worst phrase book. Here it is. It's called English as She Is Spoke. English as She Is Spoke. Here it is. Whoop, let me get on the right side. English as She Is Spoke. And it's by a Portuguese man in the 1890s. He wrote this book to help the youth understand and learn English. There's only a little problem with this. Pedro Carolino doesn't know English, but he does know French. So what he does is very cleverly, he gets a Portuguese to French phrase book, and then a French to English dictionary, and produces this book. That's how he did it. And you're going to know in a minute that doesn't work. They reprint this book every 5 or 10 years. This is the version you can get from Dover Publishing in New York, Fractured English as She Is Spoke. Now here's the interesting thing. This is really a classic. Mark Twain, the famous writer, said, nobody can add to the absurdity of this book. Nobody can imitate it successfully. Nobody can hope to produce its fellow. It is perfect. It must and will stand alone. Its immortality is secure. Now this book, if you read it, it's really a lot of fun. So for example, in the introduction to the book, here's what he says. He says, The works which we were conferring for this labor fond use us for nothing, but those who were publishing to Portugal or out, they were almost all composed for some foreign, or for some national little acquainted in the spirit of both languages. It was resulting from that carelessness to wrest these works, full of imperfections, with anomalies of style, in spite of the infinite typographical faults which sometimes invert the sense of the periods. It increased not to contain any of those works, the figured pronunciation of the English words, nor the prosodical accent in the Portuguese, indispensable object whom wished to speak the English and Portuguese languages correctly. And finally he concludes by saying, we expect then who the little book for the care what we wrote him, and for her typographical correction, that may be worth the acceptation of the studious persons, and especially of the youths, at whom we dedicate him particularly. Now, if you look at the title of the book is English as She Is Spoke. And he thinks English is like Portuguese, has masculine and feminine. And he thinks English is feminine. So he says English as she is spoke. So again, this is one reason, one of the things you'll notice, because he thinks English is like Portuguese, he thinks it's feminine. In English, there's no masculine and feminine. There's he and she, but words themselves do not have masculine and feminine like they do in Portuguese or French or German. But he thinks it does. And if you do that in your own language, you'll see you can make mistakes very easily. So for example, let me give you an example of some phrases that he gives us in the book. So his example is, the walls have hearsay. Now what's it actually mean? It means the walls have ears. That's the idiomatic expression. Or he says, he go to 4 feet. And what he means is, he's crawling. He know how ride horse. He can ride a horse. One section that he does really well, he has a section, the last section in the book is called Idiotisms and Proverbs. I kid you not. Idiotisms and Proverbs. So he translates the Portuguese idiom from Portuguese into French using a Portuguese to French phrase book, and then he uses a French to English dictionary to translate it into English. And the result is hilarious. So it says, with a tongue, one go to Rome. With a tongue, one go to Rome. What he means is, when in Rome, do like the Romans do. Here's another one. It want to beat the iron during it is hot. What does that mean? In English, we say, strike the iron while it is hot. Strike the iron while it is hot. He is beggar as a church rat. He is a beggar as a church rat. What does that mean? He is poor as a church mouse. That's what we say in English. But because he's translated these things from Portuguese to French and then French to English using a dictionary, the meaning is completely wrong. The reason I tell you this, get yourself an English to English dictionary. I recommend, again, a English Learner's Dictionary. English Learner's Dictionary, I highly recommend the Collins English Learner's Dictionary. And then your vocabulary will improve because you're starting to think in English, not English to your native language, which is what he's doing all the time. He's just translating from one language to another. And that's why it sounds funny. And if you continue using a dictionary, your English will sound pretty funny too, because it's just a funny translation. Next thing I want you to do, that you've probably been doing for years. When you go to, when you watch a movie on TV, or, well, not on TV anymore, nobody watches TV anymore. When you watch a movie, turn off the subtitles. Even if you're looking at the English subtitles, I guarantee your listening's not going to get any better. How do I know that? You've been doing it for years. Can you listen to English movies without subtitles? Probably not. Get rid of the subtitles. Turn them off. My recommendation is don't look at a whole 2-hour movie. Look at a 15-minute section and then, again, rewind, go back and look at the 15 minutes again. And then rewind and look at the 15 minutes again. Every time you watch the video, you're going to see and you're going to understand more and more. And that's what you want to be doing. You want to be looking and understanding, listening and understanding. So listen to the same section 15 minutes, again and again. You will understand 10%, then 20%, and then 30%, and then 40%. It will increase as you get better with your listening. If you leave the subtitles on, you become a very fast reader. Worse, if you use the subtitles for your native language, guaranteed you will not improve your English listening skills. And you need to improve your listening skills if you want to be a great English speaker. Third piece of advice. How many English learning books have you bought? And you say, well, if I want to get better, I'm going to go to the bookstore or I'm going to go on the internet and I'm going to order another book, another course. And what do? You do not order a basic course, you order the advanced course. But your basics are no good. You haven't got a firm foundation. You haven't built on a firm foundation. So no matter how much more you add, your English will not get better because the basics are too weak. You can't listen properly, you can't write properly, you can't speak properly. All the things are not in place. You need to build your vocabulary slowly and you need to have it at a certain level before you can make the jump, what I call the breakthrough. Root yourself in some good basic skills. Master the basic skills. While I'm on this subject, you're on YouTube, you're probably watching a lot of videos. And my guess is you're probably doing it wrong. You're leaving the subtitles on, and the subtitles in many cases are not proper subtitles. They're computer-generated subtitles, so many of the things in the subtitle is incorrect, is wrong. And so what you're doing is you're learning the wrong thing. But you think it's okay. So again, advanced is not going to help you because you need to build on a firm foundation. Get your foundation set first and then slowly move into the advanced areas. Final piece of advice, Bassackwards. Want to be a great speaker? You really want to be a great speaker? Learn to be a great listener. Yep, that's completely contrary to what you may be thinking. But if you want to be a great speaker, you need to be a great English listener. You can really become a great speaker if you learn to be a great listener first. People will want to talk to you if you like to listen. People don't want to talk to you if you like to talk. Surprise, but it's actually true. So learn to be a great English listener, and then you will definitely become a fluent English speaker. So those are my tips for you. You can learn to speak English by using a Bassackwards approach. The Bassackwards techniques will work for you. Subscribe to my channel. We've got some great things coming up, including the Superphrasal Verbs Quiz, a series of 4 superphrasal verb quizzes that are going to really improve your skills with phrasal verbs.